Independence Day is a sci-fi alien movie and my first not really horror movie review, but I also feel as this movie has several parts that are heavily influenced by horror, which I'll talk about in the review. So let's get into the plot. So basically this movie is about aliens, and aliens have came to Earth, and we don't know if they're peaceful or not. Well, as you can kind of tell by the cover of this movie, as the White House is being exploded, they are not. And it is up to the president and this cable guy and this captain of the military to basically save the world. And that is like the insanely super short plot, as it is a 2.5 hour movie, and talking over every little detail would just waste up most of my time. So my review of Independence Day, this is the good stuff. Almost the definition of a blockbuster movie. This is what, when I grew up, most movies just used to be this good. What happened? From an insane all-star cast to like an excellent rich story to a very good combination of practical and special effects with CGI. This movie is really good. On top of that, it had some really good humor parts. So let's really just get into what we want to hear, the horror parts. So besides the aliens just murdering hundreds of thousands of people when they invade, and it just being kind of insane looking, the big part of this movie that I feel was totally horror inspired was just not only how the aliens looked, but when Will Smith captures the alien and takes him to Area 51, and then there they cut open the alien. And I feel like that is something literally straight out of a horror movie for sure. And that is why I would say there's horror elements in this movie, besides a couple other spots. That spot just in particular is definitely why I'm doing the review and decided to do the review on this movie. Well, on top of this just easily being one of my favorite movies ever. It's crazy, I haven't seen this movie in like 15 plus years and still remembered so much dialogue in the movie. Just seen it so many times. It's easily just crazy good and a classic for me at least. And with me being close to my 100th horror movie review, these past 10-15 movies I've really been trying to find obscure horror movies that may not be horror but have tons of horror elements to them. And so that's kind of why I've been watching some of the movies I have been lately, and I feel like this is literally the definition of what I just said. And with all that, my recommendation for Independence Day is, I personally think this is a must-see movie, as this is a blockbuster easily. And unfortunately, what a shame that the sequel was so horrible, but we still have this must-see classic, this movie on the watch. I definitely wish I had this in Blu-ray. I just get super good deals on these DVDs. I'm starting to notice some of the movies I'm watching, man, Blu-ray or 4K would just be way better. But that's a whole different conversation I'll have for later. So yeah, it's a must-see movie in my opinion. If you haven't seen Independence Day, you're living under a rock.